Mom, I've noticed that many of my belongings have gone missing recently, and some of them have even been completely destroyed. I was wondering if you happen to know where they are, or who might be responsible for these incidents.
Your belongings? What belongings are you referring to exactly?
You know, items like my makeup, clothing, jewelry, and similar things. I can't figure out why they've been mysteriously disappearing lately. To make matters worse, I discovered some of them completely ruined after a few days. I genuinely had no idea what happened to my stuff. I distinctly remember putting them in their proper places.
Oh, you're talking about those things. I actually gave them to Suzanne, your stepsister. You see, she's only 10 years old and has a natural curiosity about everything. She kept asking to borrow your stuff, and it was extremely hard for me to say no to her. I mean, just look at her. She's incredibly sweet and innocent. I didn't want to upset her, roar in tears and throw tantrums whenever her requests aren't fulfilled.
Seriously? You gave them to Suzanne? How could you do that? Those belongings are mine, and it's my right to decide what happens to them. You can't just hand them over to Suzanne without asking my permission first. You're already aware of how destructive she can be. I'm sorry to say this, but I really don't want her to get near any of my belongings at all. Have you even considered how many of my things she has actually destroyed?
Maggie, please try to show a bit more generosity towards Suzanne. Remember, she's your stepsister, which means she's a part of our family. She deserves to be treated with love and care just like everyone else. Besides, let's not forget about the challenges she's faced in her childhood. Your stepfather left both me and Suzanne shortly after her birth, and she rarely gets to spend time with her father. Why can't you have some more sympathy for my poor daughter?
Mom, I understand that Suzanne has had a difficult childhood, but you can't just keep using it as an excuse for her ill-mannered behavior. She's 10 years old now, and she should be aware of her actions. It's important for her to learn when to stop asking for things that she shouldn't have. If she makes mistakes, she needs to be held accountable for them. Continuously overindulging Suzanne like this will only lead to her becoming spoiled and potentially engaging in even more inappropriate conduct.
Enough with your prejudice against my daughter. Why are you so cruel to her? Is it because she's your stepsister, so you think you can freely bully her however you please? Is that your twisted motive? I'm deeply disappointed in you, Maggie. I never expected you to be so petty and vindictive.
Mom, am I not your daughter too? Why are you accusing me of bullying Suzanne? Seriously? I'm just trying to help her. She's only 10 years old, and her behavior is already problematic. If we don't do something now, she's gonna end up a worse person when she grows up.
Oh, please stop blowing everything out of proportion like that. The way you talk, it's like you think Suzanne will turn into a criminal or something really bad in the future.
Am I blowing everything out of proportion? No, I'm not, Mom. Can you recall our last trip to the supermarket? If you do, I bet you still remember how Suzanne screamed, cursed, threw punches at you, or pushed the shopping cart into your legs all because she wanted you to buy her that new phone model.
Are you seriously blaming her for that? You do understand that she was simply acting her age, right? It's common for kids to seek their parents' attention in that way. She was just being adorable and needy, so there's no need to make it seem like the end of the world or anything like that. Remember, not everyone is as old and grumpy as you. Especially not my precious daughter, Suzanne.
Defending her like that, despite how badly Suzanne behaved? She's just a 10-year-old child, and it's not appropriate for her to demand such an expensive item. And you gave in so easily. After initially refusing her request, you ended up purchasing it using my money. Do you even realize what that money was intended for, right? It was meant for our daily expenses, not for frivolous purchases like a new phone for Suzanne. Now that you spent all the money I provided, where on earth do we find the means to pay for our everyday bills?
Well, all you have to do is send me more money and everything will be resolved. What's the fuss about?
Send you more money? Are you being serious? I'm not some sort of money-making machine or your personal ATM. Instead of asking me for more money, why don't you consider taking back that phone from Suzanne and selling it for some cash? She doesn't even need that new phone in the first place. She's still too young, and shouldn't have excessive access to mobile phones or any other technological devices.
Taking back that phone from Suzanne? Absolutely not. She's my daughter and she deserves nothing but the finest, and no one, not even you or me, is allowed to deprive her of anything. Look at you going around acting as if the measly sum you send me each month is some sort of significant contribution. I can't believe you'd exaggerate over such a pitiful amount of money. It's nothing more than pocket change, really. So stop acting so entitled and high and mighty towards your own mother.
Do you even realize that I've been contributing nearly 95% of my salary towards this household? Sure, maybe you believe that what I give you each month isn't sufficient. However, that so-called pocket change is what covers all the family's bills, buys the food you consume daily, and let's not forget the lavish phone you purchased for Suzanne using that very same pocket change. It's safe to say that you're pretty much living off my salary, so I do believe I deserve a bit of gratitude from you.
What? Gratitude? Aren't you forgetting something? You are my daughter, so it's only natural for you to take care of me and Suzanne because we're your family. Don't act so self-centered and arrogant. Just accept it. You're simply jealous because I don't love you as much as I love Suzanne.
Well, if you love her so much, then why am I always the one who has to come to Suzanne's rescue when she gets herself in trouble at school? Honestly, I'm exhausted from constantly being burdened with the responsibility of dealing with Suzanne's misbehavior. Do you have any idea what she's been doing to her friends? She takes delight in tormenting them. She lies to get other children in trouble. She would sometimes play pranks by hiding their school bags, books, or other belongings. She even goes as far as kicking, hitting, or spitting at them for her own amusement. Do you think behaviors are acceptable for a 10-year-old child?
Oh, Maggie. Suzanne was just expressing her affection towards her friends at school. And you know that, right? Suzanne has always had a unique personality compared to other kids her age, but that's perfectly normal. In fact, children who are somewhat eccentric often grow up to become talented and accomplished individuals. That's how geniuses are made, isn't it?
No, Mom, that's not how geniuses are made at all. That's how criminals are made. When will you finally open your eyes and see the truth about Suzanne? Fine. If she ends up becoming a total disaster, don't come back to me claiming that I didn't warn you about it firsthand.
Maggie, I've had enough of your nonsense. Why don't you stop sticking your nose where it doesn't belong and mind your own business? You're always bad-mouthing your sister like she's some sort of criminal. She's just a kid, for heaven's sake. She doesn't even comprehend the consequences of her actions.
I'm telling you, you're completely fooled by Suzanne. Suzanne knows her actions are wrong, but she does them anyway because she takes pleasure in doing them.
No, I didn't expect such hostility towards your own family. Had I known, I would have considered giving you up for adoption a long time ago. I made a grave error bringing you into this world, but thankfully I redeemed myself by giving life to a flawless girl like Suzanne. Consider yourself lucky that I even allow you to share the same air as me and Suzanne. You are beneath us in every way, and you should be grateful for any scraps of attention we deign to give you.
Hey, useless cow. I know it's lunchtime now, and I'm sure you're enjoying your lunch, right?
Oh, it's you, Suzanne. Yes, it's my lunch break, and I'm savoring my meal. Is there something you wanted to tell me?
And have you devoured your entire meal already?
Yes. I'm just about to pop entire lunch. What's the matter?
Well, just a friendly reminder, I've put a little extra ingredient in your food. It's nothing major, seriously. I just happened to, tamper with your lunch by adding the strongest laxative on the market. In just a short time, you feel the cramps, nausea, dehydration, and start to vomit uncontrollably. And of course, how can we forget about the best part of it all? Constant diarrhea!
What? Why would you do this to me? You're the worst, Suzanne!
You're as gullible as ever, Maggie. I was just pulling your leg, so there's no need to be so uptight. Relax and learn to have a sense of humor once in a while.
That was not an appropriate joke. When are you gonna give up on lying to people around you for your own amusement? Your lies have gotten everyone around you into trouble, including friends at school. Stop stirring up trouble wherever you go. If you keep doing this, don't count on me to come to your aid and clean up your messes next time.
Who do you think you are to lecture me like that, little worm? Mom doesn't even dare to touch a single hair on my head, let alone you. You are just my personal servant. My lapdog, a doormat to be walked all over. So, know your place. If you behave yourself like a good little dog, I might consider throwing you a bone or two as a reward for your loyalty.
Suzanne, you're overstepping boundaries. Being Mom's favorite doesn't grant you the privilege to act however you please. If Mom can't guide you to become a better person, I'm glad to step in on her behalf. I'll help you understand the consequences of your actions and hold you accountable for the troubles and harm you inflict on others.
Yeah, try me, old cow. See what you can do to me. I swear, even dare lay a finger on me, I'll tell Mom about it, and I guarantee she'll make your life a living hell. You know Mom always takes my side no matter what, right? I bet you still remember what happened that time when you were carrying that heavy box full of gardening tools.
What? You're bringing that up now, you little demon? I got severely injured and hospitalized just because of your sick joke.
Yeah, right. I stretched out my leg, tripped you down the stairs, and made you fall flat on your face. I must say, that was definitely a sight to behold. And what did Mom do when you tried to convince her that I was the one who intentionally caused you that fall? She yelled at you, blaming you for being clumsy and dropping the box. That's right. At the end of the day, Suzanne always gets what she wants. And Mag is always the one who has to take the blow.
You know what? Your behavior, Suzanne, is that of a spoiled brat, and it needs to come to an end. I know that Mom has been giving you access to my room without my knowledge. That's why I've already changed the lock on the door to prevent you from entering and causing damage to my belongings any longer. Moreover, I'll also reclaim the phone that Mom purchased for you using my own money. You may have it back once you show genuine efforts to change and become a better person.
What? You're going to deprive me of my new phone? No way in hell am I going to let you do that. You filthy little piece of trash. That's my phone. Mom gave it to me, which means it's my property. If you even dare to lay one of your filthy fingers on it, I'll make you pay a dear price.
I already told you, Mom bought this phone using my hard-earned money. That money should have been used for essential needs like food, water, and electricity. Do you want our family to starve or freeze to death?
Why should I even care about you useless morons? You're the one working and making all the money in this family, so figure it out yourselves. Whatever you do, don't even think about taking my phone away from me, or else I'll make you suffer like you've never felt before.
Maggie, what got into you yesterday? Who do you think you are to treat your own sister like that? I swear if it was back in the old days, you'd have been hanged or left to rot in the woods for mistreating your own family.
What are you talking about? I simply took away her phone because I think she's been overusing it. It's not good for young children to have too much screen time. Do you know how long she's been using that phone these days? Nearly 18 hours a day. I was just protecting her, and taking away her phone was really doing her a big favor.
I told you that phone belongs to my daughter, so you had no right to take it away from her. Why do you always have to disobey me? When will you stop acting like a vile witch to your own family?
I can't believe that you still continue to defend Suzanne without question. You saw with your own eyes what she did to me when she found out her phone was gone. She completely lost it.
What do you even mean? Her behavior was completely typical for a 10-year-old child. There's absolutely no reason to make such a fuss about it.
Typical for a 10-year-old child? She literally flipped the table, screaming and sobbing. When I used my most composed voice to tell her to calm down, she lunged at me, grabbed my leg, bit me, and tore off flesh. She tore flesh from my calf! Did you know that I had to go to the hospital to get stitches for that? The doctors even thought I was attacked by some kind of animal.
Oh, please, boo-hoo. Now you're making a mountain out of a molehill. What Suzanne did to you was merely a minor scratch. I bet it doesn't even hurt one bit. Stop being such a crybaby. You're a grown adult, so please start acting like one for goodness sake.
What? If it's a minor scratch, as you said, why did I even need stitches for that? Not only did you not protect me from her ferocious attack, you even gave me a vigorous slap on my face. You didn't even care one bit about me. Instead, you conveniently came to Suzanne, trying to soothe her and asking if she wanted ice cream. Really? After she went all crazy on me? I'm telling you, Suzanne's behavior is escalating, and it'll continue to worsen if she's consistently indulged in this manner.
You're the one who's being crazy here, Maggie. I explicitly warned you to keep your hands off of her and not to harm her in any way. Yet you went and deprived her of her cell phone. What is that supposed to mean? I see. Simply because I used the money you provided to purchase that phone, you believe you have the right to take it away from my daughter whenever you please. Such a selfish and nasty little witch.
Why don't you try to understand my perspective? I clearly explained that the money was meant to cover essential expenses, not to be spent recklessly on an extravagant and costly phone.
How dare you accuse your own mother? Do you think you're some kind of judge around here? Let me shake some sense into you. You're a member of this family, which means that your money is also my money. It's common sense. Even a 3-year-old would understand this. Listen up, just because you have a job and earn a paltry sum of money doesn't make you superior to anyone in this family. So quit acting as if you're the matriarch of this household, barking orders and trying to assert control like some sort of maniac.
Do you even hear the words coming out of your own mouth? It's both you and Suzanne who are behaving irrationally, not me.
Irrationally? How dare you use such a vulgar and abusive word to describe your own mother and sister? I wish I could just go back in time and get rid of you while you were still a fetus in my womb. Do you know how stressful it is to have a failed child like you? You're only half what could have become. All the time and effort I've invested in raising you has gone down the drain. You know why? It's because you grew up to be nothing more than a disappointment, a weight dragging down our entire family.
What on earth are you going on about? How did I suddenly become a weight dragging down our entire family, when I'm the one shouldering the financial burden single-handedly, covering almost all the expenses in our household? Can you explain the logic behind this twisted accusation? It's utterly baffling how you can overlook my significant contributions and instead vilify me.
Oh, please, spare me your hourly lectures on how you're the sole provider of our family. Do you seriously have to rub it in our faces every 5 minutes? It's starting to get really old. Do you know that I have headaches every single time you brag about how much money you make? You know what? I've had enough. I'm evicting you from this house. You're no longer welcome here. You're all used up. That's why I want you gone.
What? You're seriously kicking me out of the house? Do you really mean that?
Yeah, you heard me loud and clear. What's the purpose of breathing the same air with a lowlife who earns so little? It deludes herself into thinking she's the queen of the household. And what's even more sickening is that a lowlife like you had the nerve to treat your own mother and sister like dirt. You make me sick, Maggie. I can't stand the sight of your repulsive face for another minute in this house. So pack your bags and get out immediately. Don't waste any more time.
Seriously, I have done absolutely nothing wrong to deserve this. In fact, I'm the victim here, remember? Your daughter viciously attacked me.
Yada yada. Too much talking. I've had enough of your endless excuses. I don't want to hear any more of it. Since I know you're not home, I decided to save you some time and trouble by tossing all your worthless belongings into the dumpster. Maybe, just maybe if you're lucky, you can scavenge them from the front of the house when you return from work. That's if the garbage collectors haven't taken them away already.
You're crazy, Mom. And you just conveniently took my belongings without asking about it and just threw it outside? All of them?
Well, obviously not. I've kept anything that appears to have some potential use, but I did discard everything I considered to be trash and utterly useless. That includes you, of course.
You really are determined to kick me out of the house, aren't you? Fine, then I'm leaving. And I won't be coming back. So don't even think of reaching out to me if any troubles arise for you or Suzanne.
Reaching out to you? Please spare me the laughter. Why would I even consider lowering myself to maintain any contact with trash like you? Do you honestly believe that we would starve without your presence? Think again! Suzanne's father still provides child support every month and will manage just fine without you. From this point forward, we are complete strangers. I'm severing all ties with you, and I have no desire to see or hear from you ever again. Consider this a strict warning. You're not permitted to set foot inside my house. Is that crystal clear to you? Well, Maggie, how have you been doing all this time? I suppose you must have missed your old lady and little girl terribly, haven't you?
Monica, what do you want from me now? I thought you said you were done with me and didn't want to hear from me again. So why are you contacting me now?
Oh, what? I can't believe how cold you're being to your own mother. We haven't spoken in a few years and you already don't consider me your mother anymore?
Just cut to the chase and tell me what you want from me. I don't have much time for your nonsense.
Are you seriously talking to your own mother with this kind of attitude? How rude of you. I'm really disappointed in you. Anyways, I heard that you started earning a large sum of money these days and your financial situation has improved significantly. Well done! What have you been doing to become so successful?
Well, I recently got promoted to the position of marketing manager, but I'm curious, how did you come to know about my financial situation?
Well, it's not exactly a secret, you know. I reached out to some of your friends and they informed me about it. They even mentioned that you're earning a 6-figure salary annually. It's quite unbelievable, really. How could someone like you achieve such remarkable success?
What's wrong with someone like me? It appears that I'm not the failure you claimed me to be, am I?
Oh, well, don't be so big-headed. Can't you see the bigger picture? Your current affluent lifestyle is only possible because I made the decision to kick you out of the house. You should be grateful for that, if anything.
What on earth are you talking about? Why would I feel any gratitude towards the person who evicted me and blindly defended her daughter, despite the fact that she was the one who launched a vicious attack against me?
Stop playing dumb. We all know that you decided to work harder and earn more money only after I forced you to move out of the house. It's all thanks to me that you got where you are today. In other words, I'm the reason for your current success. What can I say, Maggie? I'm glad I could assist you on your way to success. Now let's get straight to the point. I want you to repay me for my help, starting by moving back in with me and Suzanne.
Move back in with you? Are you out of your mind?
What's the matter? I can sense that you're desperately longing to reunite with me and your sister, aren't you? Perhaps living alone and being separated from us all these years has taken a toll on your sanity. I genuinely feel sorry for you, Maggie.
Why would I even consider reuniting with you when you're the one who heartlessly evicted me from the house in the first place? Not only that, you even blindly sided with Suzanne and shielded her despite her being in the wrong. Your actions towards me were utterly unacceptable and unforgivable. I will never forgive or forget what you did.
Oh, please, that was ages ago, and honestly, I don't even recall the details. It's about time you forgave me for that. Look, I'm sorry for kicking you out of the house. I was really stressed out at the time and I couldn't help myself. I assure you, such an occurrence will never repeat itself. So, would you consider moving back in with me and Suzanne now? I mean, you have considerable wealth now, don't you? Instead of squandering it on frivolous things, why not invest it in your own family?
Look, Mom, I have no intentions of moving back in with you and Suzanne. Currently, I am living with my fiancé in a penthouse apartment, and we also have a beachfront villa for our vacations. Therefore, I don't see any need for me to return and live with you.
What? You have a fiancé? Well, I suppose that's not the most pressing matter right now. What I'm more interested in is the penthouse apartment. It must be really spacious, isn't it? How about this? Suzanne and I will move in and live together with you and your fiancé. Let's all live together as one big family.
What on earth are you talking about? What about the house that my father gave you as inheritance?
Well, the thing is, the house is not my property anymore. It belongs to someone else now.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, it's a long story, but Suzanne got herself into trouble and I had to sell the house to pay compensation for the victim's family.
What do you mean by victim's family? What exactly happened?
Well, One day, Suzanne got into a conflict with another girl at her school, and in the heat of anger, she impulsively pushed her friend down the stairs. Unfortunately, her friend suffered a severe spinal injury, resulting in paralysis from the neck down. But seriously, it's nothing major, really. It's not even fault. She was just being a little playful and all. You know, she's only 13 years old. She's still exploring the world, and she hasn't yet been able to comprehend the consequences of her actions.
How can you say that what Suzanne did was nothing major? She caused a serious injury to her friend that took away her mobility. She literally destroyed her friend's future, and it's a heinous crime.
I couldn't care less about the child. She's just some dumb kid who was stupid enough to mess with Suzanne. But they're planning to put Suzanne in a juvenile detention facility. I can't believe they would even think of doing that to my poor girl. Please, Maggie, can you do something to prevent that from happening? I can't let those barbarians take away my daughter. She's just a little girl. She doesn't deserve to be treated like that.
Seriously? You're still trying to help your precious daughter escape the punishment she deserves? Wake up and face reality. Suzanne needs to face the consequences of her own actions. That's the only way she's gonna learn. I'm not gonna help you or Suzanne, because it's not my problem anymore. You and Suzanne wronged me, and now it's your turn to pay for your sins. Finally, Suzanne was placed in a youth detention center, but she refused to accept her circumstances. She caused trouble and attempted to escape. But unfortunately, she ended up picking a fight with kids who were significantly larger and stronger than her. Unlike my previous tolerance towards her insolent behavior, they did not hesitate to teach her a valuable lesson or two. After selling the house, Monica found herself without a place to stay. Unfortunately, she made the decision to receive the child support for Suzanne from her ex-husband in a single lump sum, which she imprudently squandered on their own selfish desires. This left her with nothing remaining in her pocket. I'm currently living a fulfilling life with my fiancé, who will soon become my husband by the end of this as we celebrate our wedding. Alongside a flourishing career, I also received a substantial inheritance from my late father. From now on, my main focus will be on living for myself and the people who genuinely appreciate my worth.